Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning to this, the Thursday edition of Vuka Nazo here on the Big Daddy Liberty Show. My name is Sihle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. Welcome to it. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us here at the BDL Show, do me a solid favor, find me at www.bigdaddyliberty.com. There, of course, you can also pledge some support, guys. Trust me when I say this, we are wholly indebted to you guys who are monthly contributors to the show. And indeed, at some stage, we'll do a show to say thank you to you guys, the growing number of guys who are contributing 100 Rand a month and helping us grow this channel. Some exciting stuff coming your way. With that being said, let me not waffle away. You'll find me, of course, as I said, at www.bigdaddyliberty.com. And of course, all of our social media information is in the descriptor of this video. With that being said, how about we get straight into the news? All right, we begin in the Western Cape, where sadly, and this is something which I am, I suppose, personally sensitive to, that is, the violence against the most vulnerable in our society, namely children in particular. In the past 5 days, in separate incidents, 4 bodies have effectively been uncovered and discovered in various parts of the province. A rather lugubrious thought, if you will, that this is a society that is killing and murdering children. That's what we've come to insofar as the loss of our moral fiber as a society. But nonetheless, 4 bodies, as I said, have been found across the province in separate incidents. The EWN, of course, Eyewitness News, writes about this and covers it quite well in detailing how, in the most recent incident, school children discovered the body of a 4-year-old girl among the bushes on a rugby field. The children made the gruesome discovery in Paarl, of course, on Monday afternoon after the girl's mother reported her missing at the Paarl East police station on Sunday. At the same time, in Philippi, the crime scene experts were deployed to, a bushy area along Weltevreden Road where the body of the boy was discovered. And of course, on Thursday, the bodies of 2 girls aged 9 and 10 were found in a shack in Albertinia, and a man accused of their murder, of course, has appeared in court earlier this week. End of quote. It beggars belief that this is a reality in this country, that children are literally slaughtered and we're finding them, often at times even found by other children. Just imagine the trauma of that. In bushes, in open spaces, fields, under bridges, in trash cans in this country. I'm raising all of these places because, as memory serves me, these are all places I remember, various other children who have been murdered having been found. And as I said, it really registers on a very personal level because, in a previous life, in a previous hat I wore was a spokesperson to the Department of Social Development in the Western Cape. And these are stories that often will come across my desk. Why? Because often social workers had to be deployed, to render, counseling services amongst others. And of course, one had to liaise with the police and all of these things. But in all that time, I always used to ask myself the question, sitting in government, for example, where are the parents in all of this? What is happening in our societies where parents effectively are not playing the role, the strongest role indeed required, which is to be protectors of their children? What are we doing as a South African society where we're not incapacitating, allowing for, empowering the family unit to not only be rebuilt, but also to be at the center of protecting our children? It's a very sad state of affairs, and I don't know what to say about the story other than, my condolences to these families. And really, let's not have just 1 or 2 arrests being made here. Let's see more arrests and actual convictions. Let's put these monsters away who are doing this to our children. All right, staying in the Western Cape, Cape Town, indeed, Parliament now, the SIU, that's the Special Investigative Unit, they're doing God's work at the moment, cleaning, or at least trying to clean up the corruption and follow the trail, rather, of the corrupt in order to bring them to justice. They had a meeting before Parliament and they presented, of course, a report into the corruption that has been happening at the National Lottery Commission. You'll remember we've covered this issue before of the absolute rot that is the NLC, when in episode 18 we spoke about the Lotteries boss, the commissioner, former commissioner who had hastily resigned at that time, a one Tabang Mapane, if you remember. She's the lady, of course, who, amongst other things, was alleged to have siphoned money meant to rebuild a school in Limpopo that had burned down, but she decided allegedly that no, this money would be better spent on her own luxury home in a security luxury estate, basically siphoning off that money in that direction. The lovely upmarket Pekinwood estate, yes, that's where she wanted that money to go and not to them poor kids in Limpopo. Well, that same commission now came under the spotlight as the SIU revealed a shocking, and I say shocking to me because, goodness me, does it have no end, a shocking 1.4 billion rand that had effectively been laundered, siphoned off, fraudulently picked from this commission. A commission, by the way, if I can just quickly remind you, that is meant to do excellent charitable work, using money, of course, from the National Lottery. The SIU, as mentioned, effectively uncovering a almost syndicate within this commission that has basically just been stealing, pillaging, and looting money. Now, the head of the SIU, the one Andy Motibi, again, I must say this, doing God's work in this most corrupt country. When he appeared before Parliament, basically had this to say. The write-up, of course, is in EWN. Now, the SIU head, Andy Motibi, said 2 more phases of investigations worth about 246 million rand and 905 million rand, respectively, would continue well into the next year. So clearly, there's much more to be uncovered here. He goes on to say that the investigation has identified the methods through which these corrupt individuals used to siphon money, the so-called modus operandi, of course, misuse of proactive funding provisions in the National Lottery Commission Act, and we've indicated that the process needs to be reviewed. That's, of course, according to Motibe speaking in Parliament. It goes on to say, with the 27 million rand property of former board chairperson, a one Alfred Nefuhatanda, already seized, the SIU still said it had 8 more properties within its sights. Of course, mentioning that it also planned to hand over a list of 13 implicated individuals to the National Prosecuting Authority by October of this year. End of quote. Now, clearly, lots of digging to be done in this institution in order to uncover, firstly, the extent of the rot, and then secondly, those individuals who need to face prosecution and instead of living in luxury buildings and wearing expensive clothing, should be in prison cells wearing prison overalls. It is absolutely unfathomable that you have individuals in this country who do not care to the extent where they're even willing to steal money meant for the poorest of the poor, money meant for those individuals who really have fallen on insanely hard times. The political elites in this country have zero care for those individuals, that they see nothing wrong in siphoning off and indeed creating even elaborate syndicate-like structures in order to siphon off and pillage, loot, if you will, this money. And I repeat what I said at the beginning, Godspeed to the Special Investigative Unit as it pursues these individuals and hopefully sees them behind bars. All right, we wrap it up here for this, the Thursday edition of Vuka Nazo. A bit shorter, but short and sweet. Remember, you can get in touch with us by going to our website at www.bigdaddyliberty.com. Also, all of our information as to how you can reach us on social media is in the descriptor of this video. Please find me on social media. And of course, as I said, guys, we are 100% indebted to you guys, the people who support the show. So how about you contribute and pledge $100 per month on the show? Super appreciate that too. That being said, happy Thursday, as I said, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Friday edition of Vuka Nazo.